Hello, Dr. House. Thank you for being with us at Healing Naturally again. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you for having me again.
You're welcome. Dr. House, another topic that I'm interested in asking and picking your brain is PMS, Premenstrual Syndrome. You know that this is an issue that affects so many girls, especially teenagers. Of course, the period lasts, until our 50s, but the discomforts are mostly at the beginning and the early teens, and sometimes it's always. I was lucky because that has not been my experience, but in the case of my teenagers, yes, sometimes they have to be in bed. So how could you help me as a mom and other mothers, because this is a topic that typically mothers talk with their daughters, not so much fathers, but they also suffer from it because of the moodiness.
Of course.
They are
Yes.
moody, cranky, and everything else. So poor dads and poor moms out there, how can you help them with your knowledge treating teenagers with PMS?
Well, I've always heard happy wife, happy life. So, so we definitely want to help the men and the women. Now, in holistic medicine, the liver is in charge of moving blood and it's in charge of the menstruation. And the emotion for the liver is anger and depression. So
Yes,
that's why, you have those type of almost bipolar type of moods. And the thing is the liver is a filter. And we talked about it last time. With all filters, we want to clean these filters. And we talked
exactly.
about how to clean the filter. But the thing is when the liver gets, it's like women become like a stagnant pond. And that's when it's called chi and blood stagnation, chi being energy. And that's going to cause the pain and the cramping. So, a normal period has to be every 28 days. It can't be every 30 days. It can't be every 27 days. It has to be every 28 days. It has to start heavy and then go light, last for 5 to 7 days. No cramps, no clots, no pain, no PMS. And see,
That would be like the ideal thing. So
uh-huh.
when it is not like that, there's something wrong, right?
There could be a lot of different things wrong. And the way we diagnose is we look at your tongue, and your tongue is like a fingerprint that changes as you go through life. And by looking at your tongue, it can tell where your history has been, where you are right now, and where you're headed towards. But the biggest thing is, like I said, the liver. And it also has to do with birth control. If people are on birth control, that actually takes the period away and it can mess a period up.
Mm.
It also can be the fact that all the different toxins we have, the air we breathe isn't healthy. We have chlorine and fluoride in our water. And when you take a shower, it's 6 times worse than drinking it. Not only that, that chlorine turns into a gas and it goes in the air. And same with your dishwasher and your washer machine. So most people don't even realize that their liver's getting dirty and being not working right. And so what happens is there's a lot of different foods that you can eat, and there's herbs you can take. It just depends on what type of issues you have. One of the biggest issues that I see when women's periods aren't right is because of the mucus forming products that we talked about last time. What that does is that ends up making cysts or fibroids, and women get endometriosis. Actually, in China, women don't go through menopause. You're not really supposed to go through menopause.
Mhm.
There's a couple things that cause that. For one, is not, but my little sister, my mom wanted to quote unquote regulate her period, so she put her on the pill. She just didn't really want her to get pregnant. But then when she went to try to get pregnant, it took a long time for her to just to get her period back. So you want to stay away from any type of contraceptives. You also want to detox your liver. And then there's, depending on if you have fibroids or cysts, you get off the mucus forming foods. There are different herbal formulas for that. There are herbal formulas for PMS. So, but the whole thing is we got to make sure the liver is moving the blood, and that can be if you do have issues, heat is your friend and cold is your enemy. So you want to, if you're having the pain, you want to put a heating pad down there around the uterus, and that will help move some blood. You want to drink plenty of water to flush your body out. It really depends on what the actual problem is. So PMS is such a big thing. When you say PMS, that could be
Yes,
many different things.
exactly. And this is, I want to be respectful to parents that, I take also my kids to the regular doctor or the dermatologist, or but the current protocol for acne with Accutane, the dermatologists put the teenagers on birth control pills, which are synthetic and may cause cancer and all
Wow.
sorts of things, because the Accutane has a potential to create birth defects if the teenager gets pregnant. And as a Christian mother, I have explained to my daughters, actually, you have to, ideally, to wait until you get married and you form your family, and then you conceive your babies.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
because teenagers are so promiscuous these days, the protocol, I have figured out that the protocol is, well, let's kill two birds, with the same shot.
Yeah.
And
That's wild that you say that, because we were just talking about the liver, so they're making the problem worse.
exactly. And
So
I've read the side effects of the Accutane. It creates anxiety and all sorts of things. And after the pandemic, we know that our teens are going through a turmoil, adjusting their lives to this new normal with all the sequels from those years. And now through things that are topical, but this, again, the skin is our biggest organ,
mhm,
they get all these toxins and these things. So I want to raise awareness so parents can have the choice to adhere to those protocols, because
yeah,
they might think that whatever the doctor says is right, or have an option, having a consultation with you. They can pick up the phone and call you, or meet over Zoom and have a consultation, and then you will give them options how to control acne, PMS, uh, naturally,
yeah.
without the side effects
Yeah.
from these drugs.
Well, when we talk about acne and PMS, we're really talking about everything that comes into their surrounding. Like we said, the water they drink, the foods they eat have chemicals. You got to make sure you have filtered water. You want to have air filters in your house. You want to make sure you're eating organic foods. You don't want to, they're putting hormones in foods these days, and kids are going through puberty 5 years earlier than they used to before. I mean, it's
Exactly.
unreal. These young middle school girls look like they're adults these days, and
Exactly.
they're not emotionally ready to have a period yet. And by these hormones in the food, they're putting them in a situation that they're not biologically ready for yet.
Exactly. Well, and the funny thing is that when they recommend, because I have heard it, okay, and I have discussed it with my youngest daughter, and I said, sometimes we have to question these things, because how can moodiness be controlled by suppressing your estrogen?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
think that is right.
Well, what they do
But
with the
that's what they
drugs.
do. And they don't even ask the parents for their consent. They don't ask if the kid is sexually active or not. So they might be giving a pill when it's not necessary at all. What I would like to make sure is that parents following us, and you in your Facebook group, and my Healing Naturally group, they can have options. They can have choices,
Yeah,
and
there's so many options.
they can go one route or the other. And I want you to talk about some of those options. And if they want to learn more, they can buy your course, the one that we're setting up. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Education is everything. You get both sides of the story and then make your own decision. Everyone thinks like the doctors know everything, and they really don't. I mean, you go to a doctor and he doesn't even ask you what you do on a day in, day out basis. He just kind of looks at you, looks at a couple of tests, asks about a couple of symptoms, and then he just gives you a drug and sends you on your way.
exactly. And I love the approach that you have, because I saw that we're here, in Wisconsin, wonderful state. You can see my flowers there. Everything becomes ice and snow in the winter. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable that we have these plants in the summer. And I love nature and everything, that all the healing power of nature. And that is what you do. That's why I love so much your profession and all naturopathic doctors, because they are so wise. And in your case, you bring Eastern medicine, which is incredibly wise. And like you said in the other video, much older than Western medicine, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
80% of all drugs are just a synthetic duplication of something that already occurs naturally. Like white willow bark is aspirin. So it's why not go with the all natural if you can, because typically the only side effect is if you might be allergic to it, and then you just change to something else. You're not going to get 6 or 7 different side effects. I mean, these drug commercials, half the commercial, they're listing side effects. And some of these commercials talk about the product may cause death. And I always say,
oh
well,
goodness.
how can you call something medicine if it kills someone? It's funny, but it's not. I
Well,
mean,
let's not even go there, because I could give so many. I'm laughing, but I should be crying because it happened to both my parents. Okay, but that is for a different video. Now that you raised this, talking about one particular symptom of PMS, which is cramping.
mhm.
The typical protocol by the pediatricians until age 18 that our kids are with the pediatrician, and then later on by the primary care doctor, is ibuprofen. Give her ibuprofen if there's cramping. So if every month we treat cramping with ibuprofen to soothe the pain, what does ibuprofen cause to our stomach and the
And your
lining?
liver. And remember, the liver's the root of the menstruation problems in the first place. So they're just masking and managing it, and they're making it worse. So when you do have cramps, the first thing you want to do is, you could take a hot shower or put a heating pad where it hurts to help move the blood. You want to eat some warm soup or warm liquid to help move that. And there are plenty of different herbal formulas that we can get into another date that you can take that will help move that and will also help with the moodiness.
That would be great if we will put all these protocols together in a course and
Yeah.
with PDFs, so parents have like a to-do list that they can mark and use with their children. That would be great. So the cause of the cramping is because I'm asking, because this is what I think as a woman. Sometimes you have some clotting in the period, and is it that is
It's the
has
blood
a
stagnation.
has a difficulty to pass, and that causes it cramping? Is that the
Yeah.
reason?
So what happens once again? The liver moves energy and blood. So when the liver is toxic and dirty from all the toxins, it can't move the blood. So the blood cramps, and that's like a bruise. A bruise hurts because that's blood stagnation. So clotting is just blood stagnation because the liver's not working right. So we need to clean the liver and get it moving again. And like I said, there are plenty of herbal formulas you can do. Acupuncture helps out, but making sure that you do a liver detox, even starting off when they're young, you want to start doing a liver detox because the toxins in our society are 10 times worse than when we were younger.
Exactly. Yes, we know that it's absolutely terrible, and we will put the link to the acne video on the description of this video here below. You will be able to click and go to that other presentation by Dr. House and get his advice how to detox very cheaply. Because honestly, once you buy that kit, you have it in your house and you can do it, like you said, every Sunday, and it will move things incredibly. So this is so great to let parents know that by giving ibuprofen, you're pretty much giving a Band-Aid, but you're making the liver more toxic. The lining of
Making
your
it worse.
stomach is going to be thinner and thinner and create holes, and finally get leaky gut, which is a terrible way and the best one to ensure acne, because the toxins will have to go through the pores of the skin, right?
Yeah, and also remember the mucus-forming foods stop up the liver, and that's what comes out of the zits is mucus. So stop putting it in the body. I mean, it's pretty simple. You don't put it in, it's not going to come out.
Exactly. Okay, and I would love in the future, because I told you that we were recently with my youngest daughter in your area, Sarasota, Florida, and I fell in love with a little town and beach called Siesta Key.
Oh yeah.
And we were staying in Naples. We have friends there, and I just love the West Coast of Florida, and we can have a detox retreat.
Totally.
Think about that, Dr. House.
Totally detox. Yeah, because once you learn how to do it, then you can pass it on. They say things are hereditary. They're not hereditary. What happened was your grandparents didn't know what they were doing, so they taught your parents. They didn't know what they were doing. Now you don't know what you're doing, and it goes on. There's no such thing as hereditary. In my medicine, humans are never supposed to have any diseases, and we're never supposed to have any allergies, food, or environmental.
Exactly. And we have it in the Bible too, where we were created by God to be healthy, not to be sick, for God's sake.
Yes.
Our immune system, I love our immune system, because we strengthen our immune system and we're ready to battle anything. Okay.
Anything, yeah.
But there has been so much propaganda against our immune system that now there's one insect that bites us and we think that we're going to die. So, people have died out of fear more than about anything else, I believe. Okay, Dr. House, so we will wrap up this interview with this wonderful invitation to everybody to watch both videos, research the resources that we're giving, and then explore the ebooks and the books and the courses that we're going to put together with Dr. House and other doctors that are also naturally healing naturally, and you will love it. Everybody will stay healthy.
Yeah, and we're going to try to set up some type of system where once you get educated, you can have a one-on-one questions you need once you get educated. So we're gonna put a program like that together for all our people who watch us.
Exactly. And you already have a course already done. So we will put those links so people, as you say, education is everything.
I like that when they say replace ignorance with enlightenment.
Exactly.
And that's what we're doing, because all this stuff is completely easy once you learn it, and then you can pass it on to generations, and we can just be one of the healthier countries versus one of the sickest countries in the world. Exactly. I mean, we're the most powerful country, and our healthcare is ranked 37th, and we're the most overfed, malnourished country in the world. It's disgusting.
With more than 60% obesity rate.
Yes.
Definitely. We need to honor nature and the natural order of things, because it's like the ABC. And then, I'm all for the advancement of science and technology and everything else. I have a book on it with the latest protocols and cutting edge things for longevity. Let's use it. Stem cell research. I'm all for that.
And we need emergency medicine too, so it definitely has its place, but it's not the end all.
Exactly. So this is fascinating, and we will continue to create these capsules of knowledge with your help, Dr. House. So I cannot thank you enough.
Yeah.
and see you next time. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. See you
See
soon.
ya.
Bye.